Welcome back, my friends. Well, our next guest, quickly became a fan favorite, and she quickly became my wife. She's a former producer for David Letterman and proud co-creator of The Daily Show, but now she can be found in the kitchen, only the kitchen. She doesn't leave the kitchen, with her blog, Mad in the Kitchen. Please welcome back to our show our good friend, Madeline Smithberg. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, honey. You left your socks in the living room again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll pick them up as soon as we're done with this. First question, the last time you were here, there was drama caused by our producer, Ted. I just want to make sure, so we can throw him under the bus again for humor. Did he give you the right time for our segment today, Madeline?
Yes. But I had a little bit of PTSD from the last time because he told me an hour later. So I'm relaxing. I'm kind of ready, not 100%. And all of a sudden it's like, you're going on. And it's not the way you want to start your day. Let me do that.
I got it. Totally.
Stressful, but I don't think Ted will do that again. He had another time he gave me the wrong date. So I thought that I was going on and I hadn't heard from him. So like the night before I go, hello, do you want to talk about my segment? And then he goes, oh my God, did I tell you you were doing the show tomorrow? But I really like Ted and I don't want to throw him under the bus because he's the one that books me, Jason, although you could just do it through Messenger or shout it from the living room.
Exactly. Well, let's get cooking, my dear friend. We're making...
Ouch. I just walked into my thing.
Okay. Wait. I heard you have 3 cameras today. What is this? Is this a sitcom? Is this this
I'll show you. I've got the overhead camera. I've got what's called the Sam Cam that my actual husband operates. And then I have my hero cam.
Look at that!
I have a lighting grid on my ceiling. Sam, I have a lighting grid on my ceiling that lives here. We have a little switcher. Things here at Mad in the Kitchen are really taking off. But what I need? I need a stage manager. I'm always looking at the wrong camera.
I love it. What are we making today?
Okay, we are making something that is so simple, so easy, and really delicious. I made it for an episode of my YouTube channel, which is Mad in the Kitchen. Everybody needs to subscribe.
Yes.
And then I made it on the Today Show. And what this is a simple salmon masala. It is a filet of salmon, which we get beautiful here in the Pacific Northwest. And then there's 4 ingredients other than the salmon. We have 1 part coarse mustard, 3 parts maple syrup. Nothing can taste bad with maple syrup. And then we have a generous part, as it's called, of this amazing spice blend called Kashmiri Masala from Burlap Barrel Spices. There's like 75 different spices in it. And that was posted on the spice group of Burlap Barrel. And then, of course, I, being me, took it a step further. And I use white wine and I make a sauce. And this is what you do.
Okay.
You get to be artistic, which is always good. And I am going to, with my brush, I think this is an actual paintbrush. I couldn't find a paint, anyway, but I never used it to paint. But I paint it onto the salmon. I feel like Bob Ross. La la. You just paint this onto the salmon and then you let it sit like 20 minutes if you have them. And you can be pretty generous with it. I don't do the bottom. And then I have my oven heating to 450. You really do not do it very long. You want it to still be pink in the center. So I do it hot and fast. That's my motto.
Hot and fast.
And now I stick it in the oven. And while it is in there, I take the remainder of my sauce, which is just, remember, the mustard Kashmiri Masala, but you can use Garam Masala if you can't find this. It's in the supermarkets, maple syrup, and then my secret ingredient. And I dump like a lot of wine in there, and I just turn it onto a high flame, and I cook it and cook it and cook it and cook it until it becomes almost like a glaze.
Look at that.
It's a sauce glaze, my favorite kind. And then I put on my mitts, and this you'll understand later.
Yeah, that's coming up. Those
super
mitts.
Important.
Yeah, they're super important. You'll find out later.
You will find out later. You got to tune in. I take it out of the oven. Look how gorgeous it is, but it's not done. Oh, this is where I made. Okay, I got it.
That's pretty right there.
I know, but then I dump the sauce on it.
Oh,
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy good. It's a candy and a dinner. And then I put, just to make it pretty, put a little fresh parsley, a lemon. Then I put my mitts back on. Step 9. And voila!
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Look at that. 5 ingredients. It takes maybe 15 minutes total. And you look good. And you know what? I think a lot of people try to eat salmon, especially in the beginning of the new year, because it's really good for you and it's healthy. But you run out of ideas. And this just infused my, repertoire with a little zing.
Well, can you tell the folks? Can you tell the folks about your Zoom cooking classes?
Oh my God! So, Jason, I have gotten so busy. I'm a study in be careful what you wish for, because I just put a little thing on Facebook and said Zoom cooking class is now available, and we are booked solid. And so what happens is I'm here, and the people, most of them are they're like corporate and team building events. And yesterday I had 100 teachers nationally, the incoming presidents of the NEA, the National School Board. I'm doing one for Amazon executives on Thursday, where we're making a 4-course dinner, and they're mostly in Seattle, but a lot of them are in California and New Jersey. And we cook. I did my husband's office Christmas party. I did family parties. If anyone's interested, go to madinthekitchen.com and send me a message, and we'll figure something out. We can do big budgets, small budgets, big groups. We send party hats. Depends which package you get. But there
are packages, Madeline. Are packages available?
I have 3 cameras and packages. Things are changing, Jason.
I love it. When we come back, there was almost a national tragedy on the Today Show involving Madeline. We will explain when we return right after this.
Can we see your finished product? Because I think they're wrapping us, so we'd love to see.
Here we go.
Yes.
Here's my finished product.
Oh, that's beautiful.
1 second. I don't want to get burnt.
Yeah, don't burn.
And boom, I put the sauce on.
That looks so
not
good.
Really very finicky. And there you go.
That is beautiful. We love you. She burned herself. Careful, Matt. We can't wait to see you.
Well, there's the national tragedy. That's our very own Madeline Smithberg burning herself on national television. We're back with Madeline, who is now a Today Show star. Okay, Madeline, as we were watching the clip, executive producer Jeff goes, you can see, it's like seeing a train coming. Like you knew it was coming. I saw your bare hand, and I'm like, oh God, I can't look. Madeline.
If you play the tape back with special equipment, you can hear my fingerprints burning off. And the good news is now I can go totally incognito in society because my fingerprints are gone. It was one of those moments where I had the mitts, and they were new pink mitts. We're going to be doing all kinds of Mad in the Kitchen swag, and I'm trying them out. So I have the mitts, and I took it out of the oven, okay. But when I go to hold up let me not do it again because that would be just pathetic. But when I go to hold up the finished platter, not really realizing that the pan had been in the 450 oven. And that was the problem. I figured it out, and I just went for it. And it was a very out-of-body experience. I will tell you that.
Well, and
and super embarrassing.
Well, and I love it because Hoda, they're tossing a break. So I'm sure they're not watching, and they're like, "Oh, we'll be right back." While leftover skin of yours is hanging like on the plate.
My kitchen smelled like, I don't know, like something where skin is fried. It was quite jarring, but I survived. And I always have mishaps. Like in my life. I'm like, I always forget one thing. It's kind of my, it's a little bit of a, I spliced one of the Julia Child genes onto myself. And I always, have some problems.
Well,
but I get through them. And so it's another reason to watch. It's like, will she survive the episode?
That episode leads us to this. So we, as people watching knows, we do our version of Oprah's favorite things called Best Thing Ever. And you have a best thing ever. What is it?
Yes, I do. And this is going to come at no surprise. My best thing ever is my mitts. I love my oven mitts. They keep me safe. You can pretend they're puppets. They're really great, but you can go into the oven without fear. And I've always loved my mitts. I said it in my first episode. I love my tongs and I love my scissors, but I really love my mitts. So that's what it is. That's my favorite thing ever.
Are those specific Mad in the Kitchen mitts yet, or are you working on that?
I'm working on them. We're in prototype stage, so you'll be the first one to get a pair. I'm playing around with different models and shades to find the absolute perfect color, but we are going to be making some Mad in the Kitchen mitts. It's kind of exciting. Things are going well.
You have merch, Madeline. You're going to have merch. That's a big deal with the kids. You have merch.
I have merch.
I know.
Somebody told me that. You don't have merch on your website? And I was like, is that a virus? Is that an infection? Is it like a fungal thing? I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I get a lotion for that?
Yeah, do they have a lotion? Is there a salve or a cream or an ointment? It sounds awful. Maybe bugs involved.
Well, other than almost trips to the emergency room and a great recipe, whenever Madeline's here, she always has a good story. And when we come back, another one right after this. Back in a moment. Merch.
Folks, for my money, a 10th anniversary just would not be complete without Radio City Music Hall, of course, a lobby full of sheep, and a handful of border collies. So, folks, here now is Tom Wilson and her old friends Molly, Ben, and Roy. Sheep are on their way to LaGuardia.
Okay. See, you just don't have that type of quality entertainment anymore. Welcome back. That's a clip from Late Night with David Letterman's 10th anniversary special back in 1992 on NBC. We're back with Madeline Smithberg, who, of course, you guys know this, a former producer for Letterman. I'm sure, Madeline, you have a story behind the scenes with that.
Jason, it's a story I'd really love to tell you over dinner sometime, because I'll tell the short version, but that was one of the most stressful days of my life. Just to give you an idea, I had to write that introduction as I was a segment producer, and normally you would write your introduction and it would just go on a hand card or a cue card for Dave. But for Radio City, we had to get our introductions in 3 weeks earlier because somebody wrote them with gigantic, ridiculously gigantic magic markers, and the cue cards were 10 feet high. And I've never had writer's block. But that's not the story. The story was I had gone to the State Fair of Texas, and I found this guy who had these amazing border collies, and they herded sheep. So we brought them into the studio at 30 Rock, and we had some trouble. And during our rehearsal, there was a news studio right across the hall. It was called Live at 5 with Sue Simmons and NBC News. And during our rehearsal, some of the sheep got kind of loose, and they ended up in the Live at 5 studio, and they were doing a broadcast. And so they weren't that happy. But Dave loved it. They went on the elevator and they left. And when it came time for the 10th anniversary, he specifically requested, and somebody came to my office and said, Dave wants the Border Collies on the anniversary show. And I remember thinking, okay, knowing that this was going to be, because like tensions were high, 10th anniversary, Radio City, the Rockettes, Bob Dylan. So I booked the guy. He's wonderful. And all of Radio City is a national monument.
Yes.
Even the rugs, the carpets are national monuments. So those Border Collies held those sheep on a vinyl mat on the carpet that was a national monument for 6 hours without moving. I've never been so impressed with a dog or a human. I mean, it was amazing. So everything's going fine, and we're figuring out how many sheep and will they start on the stage. We built them a little ramp and a pen. And then my nightmare shows up, and it is a representative from the ASPCA.
Oh, no.
And now this guy is on me. And he's like, let me take a look at the taxi. How long will the sheep be waiting here? What is going to be under their feet? Let me see if you know. You've got to take these seats out of the cab. I need to have every single protruding object covered in vinyl. And we're doing a 90-minute show, and this is like 4 minutes. And now the entire crew is down there getting this, cab safe for the sheep. And the man with the Border Collies was from Scotland, and he was just the most delightful man. And he looked at me and he said, doesn't this man know that these are sheep and that they live on rocks and crags and they're lamb chops minus 24 hours? Does he not aware of this? So the guy keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And I go, what are you really concerned about? And he said, I'm just worried about the stress to the sheep. And I lost it. I said, the stress to the sheep? I had to write a 10-foot tall cue card. I've been on the phone with London. I've had to clear I haven't slept. No one on this staff has slept in 6 weeks. And you're worried about the stress to the sheep? And that was it. We sent them in a cab, and they went to ostensibly to the airport. But he really wanted to know, where are they going? I go, they're going around the block and getting back out. Lay off. Anyway, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we love you. Always a pleasure. We'll see you next month. Be careful. Don't burn yourself. And I can't wait for the merch.
Merch is coming. Go to Matt in the Kitchen on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Go to my website and ask me about Zoom
That's right.
cooking. Matt in the Kitchen.
Everything she said. We love you. MattInTheKitchen.com. Subscribe, Minnesota and Wisconsin, and find her on YouTube as well. Search Matt in the Kitchen. We'll be back. No sheep when we return. The stress of the sheep.